I'm walking away. This nigga out the backseat of the car started shooting me.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Crystal Nicole. So I know I said I wasn't going to do a video on this until after Tory's bail hearing for his appeal, but I decided I have time. So let's go ahead and get into that. So the DA, the detective, Megan's team, and we can go ahead and include the judge in all of this, colluded to put this man behind bars. And the fact that they did it in everyone's faces and only a small group of us seem to be upset about it is astounding. The fact that so many are so bravely and boldly running around praising the LA justice system for getting it right and wishing that Tory had gotten more time over this bullshit that Megan started, and majority of them are his own people, is just what makes this so embarrassing. And I don't even know where to begin. I have a feeling a lot of people think that I'm just going over the same lies that we already heard from Megan and do not understand how this trial testimony is damning and how it exposes not just Megan, but the DA, the detective, and Megan's team in framing Tory over a shooting he didn't commit. Now, I know y'all have heard me say Megan changed her story from walking to the back to the front before, and how Kelsey and Sean Kelly have different stories than Megan. So we all know that something wasn't right and Megan and Kelsey were lying. Cool. Okay, we got that. What we didn't know is that Megan was forced to change her original story that she gave Detective Stogner and us on her live video in August 2020, because it 100% made Tory innocent of this crime. And unless she changed her story, there was no way they could bring this into a court of law and Tory be found guilty, because her original story made it 100% impossible for Tory to have shot her the way she claimed, and no amount of payoffs in the world was going to be able to make that shit make sense. We did not know Megan did another interview just 1 month after Tory was charged that included her team and the DA, so that she could change her story and prosecutors could have a case for assault. November is how you all know they set this man up, and Megan's team was well aware. So let's begin. So as posted on my community feed, we all know that this incident occurred on July 12, 2020. While Megan was rapping in her diss track that she ain't never went to the police with no names and she thought that a bitch that got her chain snatched caught a loss had something to say. Talking about Kelsey snitching. Anyway, she apparently forgot that she went to the police with Tory's name on 2 separate occasions, where her first story made Tory 100% innocent of shooting her, and her second story made it a definite possibility he did it. So let's get into that. So 4 days after the shooting, July 16th, Megan spoke with Detective Stogner on the phone, and it was recorded, according to these preliminary hearing transcripts in Sean Hawley, where she told him that Tory had shot from the backseat of the car as she was walking towards the rear of the vehicle. She was at least 8 feet away, according to her testimony, when Tory yelled, "Dance, bitch," and started shooting. She apparently told them that she had saw Tory pull the gun, saw his torso, head, hands, arms leaning over the door shooting. Now, this story obviously made no sense, as George pointed out during trial. If that was her story, then Tory hadn't shot her, because she was behind him during the shooting, not in front. And Kelsey was in that space where he was shooting from. So how did he do all of this with Kelsey there and Megan walking behind him? It was literally impossible. On August 20th, Megan went live and told us the same story about Tory shooting her from the back seat of the car. After Tory was officially charged in October, I guess the prosecutors finally went over Megan's interview with the detective and figured out that they had a major problem with her version of events. So Megan, her team, and the DA met with the detective again, and she had come up with a new story. And you can all just guess what the changes to her story was. That's right. Megan was now walking to the front of the car, so Tory could be aiming at her. But she refused to admit where she saw him do it from. Now she couldn't remember if it was the back seat or the front seat. She just knows it was the passenger side. And she saw him pull the gun and shoot. She can't tell you where he pulled the gun from. At trial, she kept trying to take this back and not recalling she said it because it would make no sense for her to be looking dead at Tory, pull a gun, and shoot her with it. But somehow she just couldn't see where he did all of this at, because that's a lot of watching going on from Megan with no specific location. Megan could not say that Tory shot from the front seat because it would make it look like she changed her story to match Kelsey's story, and it would make her look like a liar because she cannot be adamant that it was the back seat before trial and now be adamant it was the front seat at trial. So she had to say, I can't recall. And for obvious reasons, like we just went over, she could no longer say that it was the back seat. Now, this was not the only thing. Megan also changed her story on why her and Kelsey weren't friends anymore. Now, Megan had told Rolling Stone that it was because Kelsey had met with Tory after the shooting, but Kelsey said in her interview with the DA that
never not once cleared my name. Mind you, she had no reason to be upset with me because at that time she did not know that I had met with Tory. She didn't know this, so she had no reason to treat me anyway or
one night meeting with Tory.
And Megan told Rolling Stone that it was because Kelsey had told her that she had met with Tory because her back was against the wall because Megan and them weren't speaking to her. And Tory had offered her money for her business to not say anything. And ever since then, Kelsey hadn't said a word on this case since. So they were not friends. But this wasn't true, because Kelsey and her lawyer immediately came out and denied Megan's claims in that article and said Kelsey hadn't been paid by anyone to not do anything and it would all come out in court. Kelsey had also spoken a few times against Megan publicly about the case and kept saying that Megan was lying about everything that she was saying. Just like she came out and accused Tory and Sean Holly of lying after the preliminary hearing after those details finally came out from Sean Kelly accusing Kelsey of being the shooter. Now at trial, Megan changed her story and said her and Kelsey weren't friends because Tory and Kelsey had come together to make up the story about him and Kelsey dating and Megan going behind Kelsey's back to sleep with him. And she said that this wasn't true because Kelsey and Tory were not dating and she'd never been with anybody else Kelsey had been with. But Kelsey said that this was a lie. And Megan never mentions anything about any money offers from Tory to Kelsey at trial. And on top of this, her story made no damn sense since she had just admitted herself during her own testimony that she had been doing exactly what she accused Tory and Kelsey of lying about. And even Kelsey admitted that, yes, her and Tory had been intimate sexually a few times, but it just hadn't turned into anything serious. So even Megan's alleged issue with Kelsey is a lie. It makes no damn sense. So we can stop making up theories on what happened here. This puts an end to that. What you all heard from Sean Kelly is what really happened here. There is no truth in Megan or Kelsey's stories at all. Megan was made to change her story just to make this man guilty of those charges, like he said, with extreme help. And we all know who that help was. And we just sat here and watched it happen. Now, if y'all want to go back and forth on if it was Megan or Kelsey's gun or which one of them pulled it out and shot it, cool, because we still don't know that one for sure. But anything outside of Sean Kelly's story is a 100% total lie. And there's nothing to go back and forth about. Megan lied. And if they can't explain what's said in this video about her major story change, they already know what it is. And so do you. So never stop screaming, free that man, and figure out what ways we can rally in the court of law instead of just the court of public opinion, because really, there really should be more of an outrage than it really is. I'm not going to repeat all the ways the police and Megan's team were culpable in this, as I've already made 2 videos breaking down how Tory was railroaded. And when you add this change of story from Megan, it is clear as day how they set this man up. And that should be the only discussion, excuse me. So go tell them to run tell that when they running their mouths and they Twitter fingers about Tory, because this is their victim. And she ain't nothing but another Carly Russell. Heavy on the Smollett.